All right, after fixing a few things, tightening things up a bit back scene, we've got it running from this capstan here, in plane with the back plane of the arm here, back down and around to the motor where we've neatly wrapped it up. So in this case, when the elbow is all the way in like this, all of this cable is all the way in, and we've still got at least about 1.5 wraps on the pinion still. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our next cable. We've already cut it to length, or what I think is about the right length. This is about 3.5 feet, and we'll be able to cut from the end if it's a little bit too long. So I think we are going to start by putting it in the pinion, the elbow side first. And I think that's the right decision. I'll let you know at the other end if the other side would have been a little bit easier. But for this one, we're going to take out the smaller set screw with our 0.9mm screwdriver, Allen wrench, place the end in here, push out the old cable end, and then go ahead and tighten that up. We'll be playing with the tension from the other side so that we don't have to come back in and cut here. So now we put this in the opposite direction of the other cable, which means that we also need to double back like the cable does over here. So we'll start by pushing it through, getting it around. We want to make sure not to wrap it around any of the other cables that might still be on the robot. And so here's that doubling back that we were talking about. So now we're going to wrap a decent amount. So starting from the other side might have been a little bit easier. So then we could have done just the 2 that we needed here and then all the rest in the motor. But holding the elbow out that far is a bit more difficult. So I suspect we'll need at least 5 or 6 wraps. But if we go until the other one, then that'll be a decent amount. This is a part where it might be handy to have a friend to help you out. Yeah, Melody, if you want to just hold it right there, put your finger right on there, and then that lets me put that through a little bit easier. And make sure not to wrap around that finger. Cool. All right, if you want to let go there, I'm just going to realign some of these cables. Okay, well, it looks like I actually tied a knot on here, so we're going to undo that a little bit. Yeah, it's not making sure to go over Melody's hand here. Yeah. Okay. This one's actually going over that one. So if you're having trouble keeping all these cables straight, don't feel bad, you're not the only one. Go ahead and taking these out to make sure that I'm not wrapping it around itself poorly. Cool. All right. And in. You lift your finger there. Perfect. Thanks. And lift your finger in the back. Good. So that's 3 wraps or so. Okay, and then in the back there. Yeah, make sure you're not going over that cable there. Things get messy afterwards. If you do, that one. Then we're gonna neaten those cables out a little bit. Now that we've gotten, can I get in the back here? Clean these cable teeth, and then, yeah. So I guess one more wrap should do us. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do it another one just to be safe. I think we have enough cable, and I'd really rather be a little bit long than a little bit short.
Oh, should it go?
What's, oh, yeah, good call. All right, so now this is the strap around. We want to come out around the front. You can go ahead and let go, Melody. Yeah, that looks pretty good on this side. Now, let's see if we can't get this to the front. There we go. So now we're going to push it around those pulleys on the front, just like we do on the tool cable, and maintain some tension so that they don't pull off. Like that. Then get that into the second pulley. Pull it forward a little bit. Again, try not to tangle this around any of the other cables. Pull that through. And then, Melody, can you just hold this tight, just like that, and I'll run the other side. Okay, got it. Now we're going to try to thread it through here and get it through that first pulley. Yeah, go ahead and pull that. Okay, good. Hold that tight while I come back around. Got it. Now push this back. And, all right. So now we're gonna go back to the motor and start winding it up. This should be going in front of the other cables that are still on here. If you have more cables, then you need to pay a little bit more attention to make sure you're not wrapping around those. And then, cool. So since we have all of the cable we should need on the other end, we only need to do between 2 and 4 wraps on this side. And yeah, before we get too far, I'm gonna take the top clamp off so that we can have it when we need to place it on at the end. Make sure not to lose that plate there. it somewhere tidy, and then start wrapping. Oop. Thank you. So that's 2 wraps so far. Let's see if we can't get 4. Thanks. 3. And 4. Great. So now is one of the tricky bits. If I can, I prefer to start from this end and finish on the other end, just because this last step of getting the clamp on can be a bit of a pain. So on these older robots, the clamp hole is a little smaller, so you need to thread it on a little bit before hitting it. Yeah. Do you want to stop this for a minute?